No Fonzie, no Potsy. We've already had this discussion before on the program. The fact that I know Ralph Malph's real name is Donnie Most means I need to get some of the gray matter scraped out of my head. I think I'm going to do it the cheap way. Just have a friend drill a hole in my head and scrape some of the gray matter out. Hopefully hits the right part of the brain. Jeez and Pete's. Could you put in something useful that like helps me in life in that spot instead of Donnie Most as Potsy? Geesh. Stuff gets burned in your brain. Corey Johnson, yeah, you right. Thanks for joining us again a Thursday afternoon in New Orleans. Pretty nice weather day. A little Coolio front rolled in. Kind of cloudy, but cool and comfortable. It might end overnight and into tomorrow. We'll see. You never know what those old meteorologist weather folks know. But we are expecting some thunder showers in the metro New Orleans area, definitely tonight into tomorrow. Tomorrow's like, according to the weatherman, a washout, at least early, but you never know. Then Saturday and Sunday, it's going to be kind of nice, sort of 60s. I don't think a lot of rain chance, and I think it's going to be sunny and partly cloudy, that kind of thing. Not like a bright, sunny weekend, but I think just sort of cloudy and overcast. At least that's what the meteorologists are saying. And temperatures in the 60s. So that's pretty cool. Like wake up to low 60s and it doesn't move too much higher than that. I'll take that Saturday and Sunday with no rain, even if it's cloud cover. Are you kidding? In I was about to say February, but we're fading into March, Joe at the controls. We're getting that extra 24 hours this year. It's a 366-year day. Hooray. Hey, all kidding aside, New Orleans needs this extra day for prepping for the Super Bowl coming. We'll need this extra day. Need every day we can get, every minute, every hour. Lots of stuff to do for Super Bowl 59, February 9th, 2025, right here in New Orleans. Like, little more than 11 months away. It was 12 months, I know, a month ago, but that was like 3 days ago. That's what the city of New Orleans doesn't quite get. It'll be 90 days out, and it'll be like, all right, y'all, we're getting it going. It's like, it's 90 days out. It should be ants on a sugar cube right now, huh? Folks all over the place. Wow, look at that group of 20 guys just busting their tail on that blighted thing, that ugly thing, those overgrown weeds, that broken up road, that graffiti. They're power washing that. They're painting that. Boy, look at that mural. Look at that wrap around that building, blah, 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 blah. Lots of trees, shrubs, greenery planted, cleaning up the city for Super Bowl 59. Got to take advantage of it. I just don't see too much happening right now. We'll keep up on this exact theme, sad to say, for the next 11 months. Big story breaking today. Fox 8, Lee Zurich reporting. The feds are nearing kind of a determination of charges against New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell. The federal investigation is at a critical time. Bringing charges, if yes, which ones? Or I think a very slim chance, no charges, I don't see it. Indictments could be forthcoming because Vappy is involved in this as well. Officer Jeffrey Vappy, falsified timesheets and the like. Mayor LaToya Cantrell, it's a few things, including potential monetary kickbacks, taking something of value. Rafael Goyeneche from the Metropolitan Crime Commission is going to join us in 10 minutes. What a perfect guest to get. New Orleans guy, been running the Metropolitan Crime Commission for decades, a ridiculously apolitical group. They don't care about color or any political affiliation, they just go after the bad guys, the criminals. Mostly on tips from the general public. It's like the Office of Inspector General. They just follow the money. They just follow the city taxpayer money. Speaking of, I was on their website. Should be any day now. They're waiting on that Sewage and Water Board. I think 1 or 2 reports on the Sewage and Water Board. I would think within the next week or 2. And something I've been talking about for years that I was glad to see the Office of Inspector General pounced on, the fuel cards that the city employees have, where they go to this, fuel place and put in the card and punch in a PIN number and start pumping fuel. And I know that first off, like the fuel numbers, like the PIN number is etched into the pump. So everyone just uses that PIN number that's etched into the pump. And the one that's the freshest is the PIN number that gives everyone the green light. And then, Joe here, he's got a city vehicle, filled it up with 20 gallons of gas. And then a day later, he's only driven 20 miles, but he's filling it up again with 20 gallons of gas. Can you say pathetic garden hose siphoning act at home, filling up the wife's car? It's like fuel day. Fill up the vehicle, the city-owned vehicle, drive home, siphon all the gas into my personal unit. And then because I'm dumb and I think the city's, never going to catch me, go fill up again. No, just abuses with the fuel card. I've been talking about take-home vehicle abuse. It's 2024. Most vehicles have like a built-in GPS. Built in. You can access it. Even if you don't have OnStar activated or not, they got it activated. Follow you wherever you're going. I mean, all these, why on a Saturday night were you in Baton Rouge with the city-owned vehicle or Gulfport or the North Shore? Whatever. City-owned vehicle, just things like that are easy to figure out. So you can go on nolaoig.gov. They have like the annual report, the monthly reports, all that, what they're doing. All I can tell you is I don't think enough people care about the OIG office. That's for starters. I don't think they understand the significance of it in a metro New Orleans area. Jefferson Parish might as well not have one. Theirs isn't not only no bark, no bite, no nothing. Zero, nothing. They don't do anything. And St. Tammany doesn't have one. They scrutinize taxpayer-financed projects where taxpayer money is being spent, where it goes. I don't know why anyone would be against it. It pays for itself like right away. So no one really cares about it locally. No one really cares about where their money's going. I mean, I'm hell-bent on it. That's why I was a big proponent of Bob Sarasoli. I was running for council at large because I was delusional, but did pretty well in that election and got the IG's office on the map. I remember going to debates. No one knew what it was. Then all of a sudden, everybody else is talking about the IG's office. Ask Bob Sarasoli about Corey Johnson and what he did for the early days of the IG's office in New Orleans. Just by doing my show. Ed Michel reminds me of Bob Sarasoli, just tenacious, passionate, doing the job, apolitical, following the money. Younger than Bob Sarasoli, but I don't know how long Ed Michel can go at this torrid pace he's on. It reminds me of Bob Sarasoli. All he does is produce reports. Ed Cotreveau was a nice guy, but as Jim Finks would say, a little long in the tooth when he got the gig. And then Do Nothing Derry Harper, I'm telling you his nickname, Do Nothing, he did nothing. He was totally politically connected. Didn't understand what he was supposed to do. It was sad and pathetic. Definition of sellout. No, Ed Michel is a blessing. New Orleanians should be thankful for the OIG's office. And Hope that Ed Michel is around for a long time, because I'm looking at this thing today on the website. I'm like, look at all these reports month after month, the annual report, these monthly reports. Check it out. NOLAOIG.gov. Like, this guy's just a pit bull, and it's all good. There's nothing bad about it. Hey, Rafael Goyeneche joins us next. The feds, indictments, Mayor LaToya Cantrell. Rafael fills us in on all of that and more. Don't move. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Tomorrow, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. The usual crew, Fletcher Mackle for a few minutes, keeping us up to date. LSU's going to build a $300 million arena, maybe with Baton Rouge. $300 million? Really? Also, Frank Brightson from his restaurant, Talking Food. Boy, is that place good. Michael Hecht will join us from Greater New Orleans, Inc., hopefully with some good job news. That segment's always brought to you by Latrim. Speaking of jobs, Latrim is hiring a culture of innovation at Latrim. East Bankers, West Bankers. Their Elmwood facility is hiring. They're looking for you. North Shore folks, Latrim has a facility on the I-12. They're looking for you. Latrim.com for a full listing of positions available. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, Latrim.com. Lee Zurich, Fox 8 News reporting the feds may be nearing a decision of charges against New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell. The federal investigation is at that point. Indictments could be forthcoming. Mayor LaToya Cantrell could be indicted by the feds. I love bringing this guy on the program, and this is a perfect time to bring him on so we get some clarity of the story and what it means, the significance. Guy knows a lot about it, just generally speaking. Then you add the history part of it and in New Orleans and his decades with the Metropolitan Crime Commission. So glad Rafael Goyeneche's joining us, especially on a day like this where it's not a definitive thing, but it's a little gray area thing, and we can maybe get a little, like I said, clarity. How you doing, Rafael?
I'm fine, Corey. How are you?
Doing well. I was talking with a buddy of mine, and I'd say, like in most cities in America, when you even hear a story like this, it's a tragic day. And in New Orleans, it is also, and I think that's what needs to be known. And also, some people, though, appear to be kind of giddy when they see this type of news. First off, it isn't anything definitive, is it? And what is it, in your opinion, Rafael?
Okay, so, by way of background, there's been stories now going back over a year that the mayor's been under investigation. I think early last year or late 22, there was information disclosed that some subpoenas had gone out to stores that goods were purchased from by a representative of the mayor. It was reported very widely that there were issues about the mayor using some of her campaign funds to make what appeared to be personal purchases rather than using those funds on legitimate campaign issues. So that was over a year ago that surfaced, and then it went quiet. But there were federal subpoenas that went out. So that was the first indicators that we had that the mayor may be subject to a federal investigation. Fast forward to last summer, it was disclosed that the mayor and Officer Jeffrey Vappy, who's a member of the executive protection team, had hired private legal counsel in this case. So that was, to me, another indicator that the investigation was progressing, because normally attorneys are hired after the targets are notified and become aware that the government is investigating them.
Right.
Usually that's done by a target letter that is sent by the federal government to the suspects, people under investigation, and usually that is the sign that the government intends to prefer charges, and that's the opportunity for defense counsel to go in and talk to the government, which would be the U.S. Attorney's Office in this particular case, about a possible plea. And if there had been or was an agreement as to a plea, you would have probably seen a plea announced by now, because that information was out there last summer. So fast forwarded to last Friday, I was contacted by Fox 8 and informed that they had received a federal grand jury subpoena for the stories that they aired about the mayor's use of the Pontablo apartment and the fact that Officer Jeffrey Vappy, a member of her executive protection team, was documented through video footage obtained by Fox 8 from the French Market Corporation security camera that was installed right before the front door of the mayor's apartment. So when you see a grand jury subpoena issued, that's an indication that evidence is being presented to a grand jury, which means that there's a good likelihood. I'm just kind of reading the tea leaves. This is me interpreting.
Yeah, well, when you see a grand jury, what again?
A grand jury subpoena issued to Fox 8 for the video footage of the stories that were aired on that station. That's an indication that, to me, that the plea deal, if there was one, was turned down. And now the government is in the final stages of preparing charges that will be filed. And based on that subpoena that Fox 8 received, and that was the subject of the Fox 8 report from last night, they were talking about that subpoena that they received, and they asked me to comment on that. So my assessment is that that subpoena is evidence that the investigation is winding down, and they're not subpoenaing records just for an exercise. They're doing it because they intend to charge somebody in this particular case. So I believe that an indictment will come down. I just don't know when, and that's just my personal opinion. But I believe that, this most recent subpoena that was disclosed by Fox 8 that they received is an indication that there are going to be some federal charges filed in this particular case. I could be wrong, but I'm just reading the tea leaves, and I've been doing this for a while, and that's what I suspect is what that subpoena means. And it's probably going to be some bad news coming to some people in the not too distant future.
Rafael, real quick, not to go off the main story here, just this particular point. I'm assuming the French Quarter cameras where Fox 8 got the video, they must every few months erase and restart or something, where the feds couldn't just subpoena all the video. But then it seems weird that they'd subpoena Fox 8. Like, what would be the excuse? It would have to be that the French Market Corporation doesn't have the video anymore, more so than we really don't have the time to scour the video ourselves like Fox 8 did. They already did the job. Let's get it from them. It just seems...
So keep this in mind, Corey. So the Metropolitan Crime Commission released photographs of the mayor and Officer Vappy coming and going from the apartment complex. Fox 8 had their own tips, and they received and requested via the Public Records Act issued to the French Market Corporation the security cameras that were installed in front of the mayor's apartment complex. So they could track the comings and goings of everyone coming out the front door of that apartment for a period of months. You're right, that video footage only pertains to a few months. So I don't pretend to know what the government knows, but let's assume that they realized what was going on when the Crime Commission and Fox 8 broke this story. That would have allowed them to continue to get current video footage if they chose, and they could have obtained that via subpoena from the French Market Corporation. But the stuff that was the subject of Fox 8 stories about all of this would have been from the date it aired back a couple of months. So Fox 8 went through a couple of months, and I don't know if the government, if by the time the government was looking at this, those tapes still existed. So that's why they subpoenaed the Fox 8 stories to get the information that may no longer be available because the tapes have been deleted, or the memory on those digital recordings no longer exist.
Rafael Goyeneche is with us from the Metropolitan Crime Commission. Corey Johnson with you all the way till 6 o'clock. Rafael's with us for a few more minutes. Hey, Rafael, when we come back, can we talk a little bit more about this and the mayor's problems and also this Pontalba lease? You guys kind of breaking a story I saw on Twitter earlier today, the Metropolitan Crime Commission. Can we come back and discuss that?
Yep, absolutely.
Perfect. Rafael Goyeneche, Metropolitan Crime Commission, is with us. Fox 8, Lee Zurich reporting. An indictment could be forthcoming for Mayor LaToya Cantrell. Coming right back.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe. For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Thursday afternoon edition of the program. Fox 8 and Lee Zurich reporting the Fed's nearing kind of a crossroads, I guess. It's, you do or you don't. All roads seem to be leading towards an indictment forthcoming for Mayor LaToya Cantrell. Rafael, before we get into the news you broke about the Pontalba lease, is the Pontalba or any of that, the travel, any of those things you think included in this federal indictment or not applicable?
Well, so, all of this is just my
potential indictment.
So I don't have any inside information.
Right.
So what my experience says that if a sitting mayor is going to be charged with a crime, I think that there will be more than one instance, one count, and any corruption charges that are brought against public officials almost always include indictments and counts that involve the public official personally enriching themselves by performing their official duties as an elected official. So the fact that they've requested footage of the mayor and Officer Vappy coming and going from the Pontalba apartment, that could be a violation for Officer Vappy. I'm not sure what the violation would be for the mayor, but I believe that if they're going to charge Officer Vappy in this case, I believe that there will be charges brought against the mayor as well. So, as I said, usually the government, when they charge an elected official, they're going to be able to include counts in the indictment that allege and they believe they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that that elected official used that elective office for their own personal enrichment.
And enrichment could mean money or something of value, right?
Exactly. So, we don't know. Did somebody, pay for some of the mayor's travel? Did the mayor receive any gift cards that were used to make personal purchases? Were deposits made into any of her accounts? And if so, why? Did she report that as income? So we don't know what we don't know right now, but what we do know is that this investigation is still active, as evidenced by the subpoena, the grand jury subpoena that was issued. So a grand jury subpoena means that the evidence is going to be returned and presented to a sitting grand jury. And a grand jury is, for a case like this to get to a grand jury, that means that the Department of Justice had to get permission from Main Justice in Washington, D.C. to go forward in seeking an indictment. So you don't see a local U.S. attorney's office doing this without approval from Washington, D.C. And since this is a grand jury subpoena, it indicates to me that they have the approval to proceed with a grand jury, and that's the vehicle that you obtain an indictment with. And the fact that it is being presented to a grand jury, the grand jury, as they are presented with this information, will make decisions whether or not to vote for indictment or not. So I think that, this investigation is in the final stages, and we'll find out what the outcome is in the not too distant future.
All kind of indirectly part of the checks and balances of our country, that you literally have to have a group of people give you the green light.
Right, because you don't want, anybody or one district doing something without running it up the chain of command and making sure that everyone sees it the same way that the local Department of Justice officials see it.
Rafael Goyeneche is with us from the Metropolitan Crime Commission. I'm assuming, Rafael, that when you have like the cops racing the car on the West Bank making $200,000 a year, you got about 8, 10, 12 other cops under investigation. The Morel guy on the West Bank was indicted. I'm assuming Vappy, if he's indicted, it could be something connected to the mayor directly. Like you said, we don't know where this stuff goes, but just the macro thing, the obvious thing would be the timesheet abuse or, working hours he wasn't working, that type of thing.
Exactly. So
payroll fraud.
The case that you're referring to is Officer Todd Morel. Former Officer Todd Morel was indicted on several counts of wire fraud pertaining to his payroll records, either between the city of New Orleans or the Fairgrounds Corporation that was paying him to provide security work for them.
Yep.
So I believe that if the government believes that Officer Vappy was billing the city for official duties when he was not performing them, if they believe that they can document that and prove that beyond a reasonable doubt, then they'll present that evidence to a grand jury, and we'll see if the grand jury agrees with that. And if they do, they will agree to issue an indictment. But, the fact that the subpoena was issued last Friday, or at least served last Friday on Fox 8, is an indication that the grand jury is considering evidence. And as I said, for them to be considering evidence, the evidence had to have been, and the case had to have been approved and reviewed at the Washington, D.C. level.
And I guess because all these cases are different, you can't look at like where we are right now in this, compare it to other historical actual indictments, and give us a guesstimation on how long it would be until a potential indictment of this mayor were to come down. It's just too arbitrary, I guess, right?
Right. So, the case is ready for indictment when the indictments come out. There is no timeline. The only thing that the only timeline that there is the statutory prescriptive timelines.
Right.
And that all depends on when the offense occurred. So usually it's 5 years under department federal statute. So there's a 5-year prescriptive period for felony offenses. So we'll see how all that plays out. The other interesting thing I noticed on the subpoena is that the attorney that issued that subpoena from the U.S. Attorney's Office is the same attorney that was responsible for prosecuting the Jack Strain and the Walter Reed cases as well. So this is an experienced prosecutor that handles public corruption cases involving high-profile public officials.
Rafael, on another note, what were you guys talking about today on social media, the Metropolitan Crime Commission, that the Pontalba apartment, the French Market Corporation, is yet to lease out the old, quote, mayor's unit?
Right. So, most people will remember that On August the 24th of 2023, the New Orleans City Council overrode the mayor's veto of them stripping the use of the Pontabla apartment from the office of mayor after she continued to use it as a residence. So they warned her. She ignored it. They voted on August the 10th to return that apartment back to the French Market Corporation to be leased to the public. She vetoed that ordinance, and on the 24th of August, the city council overrode her veto. So we got a tip that the apartment was still vacant, and we made a public records request to the French Market Corporation and obtained several email communications between the French Market and the Office of Mayor. And it shows that even though that apartment was supposed to be put back into commerce as of the beginning of February, and I've confirmed as of today it's still the case, that apartment is still vacant. It hasn't been put back on the rental rolls yet. There are 192 people waiting to rent the first available apartment in the Pontabla building. This unit was ordered back into commerce by the city council by law on August the 24th of last year, and it still hasn't happened. And we have emails between the French Market Corporation and the city of New Orleans where the French Market Corporation is requesting permission to enter the apartment to do inspections and cleanups and repairs on October the 20th, January the 25th, and as recently as I'm told this week, I've confirmed that that apartment is still vacant. I'm told that the mayor still has some of her possessions in there. She has not removed them. And the French Market Corporation has taken no steps to put that apartment back on the rolls and lease it, even though there, as I pointed out, 192 people waiting to rent an apartment when a vacancy occurs.
What were the emails between the mayor and the French Market Corporation about after the fact?
Okay, on September the 9th, the French Market Corporation contacted the mayor's office, informing them that they had made some flooring repairs in the unit. And then on October the 20th, there was an email between the French Market and the mayor's office notifying the mayor's office that they wanted to send a maid in to clean up the apartment. And the mayor's office gave them a date and a time when that would be acceptable. So even though that apartment was returned to the French Market Corporation in order to be put back onto the rental rolls, the French Market Corporation is still calling and asking for permission to come and go and enter the apartment. The most recent email exchange that was provided to us between the French Market and the city was that the French Market Corporation needed to go in and do an inspection on the fire alarm and smoke detector, and they had to get permission from the mayor's office to enter the apartment to perform that inspection of the fire alarm and smoke detector.
If, the mayor is still staying there, and I'm sure Lee Zurich and his crew of interns are scouring French Market video at this very moment, if she's still staying there, that would just be beyond mind-boggling. Rafael, any final thoughts?
Well, it doesn't make a difference whether she's staying there. What does make a difference is that if she's refusing, keep in mind that the mayor appoints everyone to the French Market Corporation.
Yep.
So the council ordered the French Market Corporation to put that back into commerce, but the mayor controls the French Market Corporation. If they haven't done it, it's on the French Market Corporation, and I think that they have to explain why they haven't done it. But ultimately, they're doing the bidding of the mayor.
That's right.
So this is still on the mayor. Whether she's staying there or not, that's $3,000 a month that the city could have been receiving in the French Market Corporation, and it's not. And if she's withholding, moving out, then she's in violation of a city law. She took an oath to enforce all the laws of the city, and she's in violation of that. Could very well be, if she still has property in there and she hasn't removed it, it's possible that the city council could move to evict her from the premises.
Rafael, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Anytime. All right, Corey. Thank you.
That's Rafael Goyeneche from the Metropolitan Crime Commission. Corey Johnson with you. Coming right back.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models, and it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Always good to get Rafael Goyeneche on, a political voice of reason, understands it, experienced. Fox 8 Lee Zurich reporting the feds nearing kind of determination on charges against Mayor LaToya Cantrell. The federal investigation at a critical point. Indictments could be forthcoming. Jeffrey Vappy also expected to be in that number, a number you don't want to be in. If you ever miss anything we're doing on the program, like Rafael Goyeneche for the last 25 minutes, you can always catch it on YouTube. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It don't cost nothing. Hey, I've got some $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. Susan Spicer of Bayona fame has a Lakeview, almost mid-city restaurant. Name that restaurant. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480, 766-9480. It's now just a lot at Canal Street and Rampart, but it has historical significance. In the 60s, the civil rights era. Fill us in on that lot at Canal Street and Rampart, its significance, what was there, the significance, and I'll give you a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate, 766-9480. Al Copeland of Popeye's Fried Chicken fame, his first Popeyes was in Araby, but before it was named Popeyes, it was named something else. Give me the name, and I've got 50 big bucks for you. Good at the Woodhouse, 766-9480, 766-9480. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday afternoon. This guy is a hero doing all the dirty work. Louisiana, New Orleans, the Metro, we're terrible as far as animal control and just local pound, all that stuff. Statewide, even worse. Jeff Dorson from the Humane Society of Louisiana has been picking up the slack for us locally for 35 years, 3.5 decades. The website, humanela.org. You can go there right now to donate, humanela.org. Save some animals. You can check them out on Facebook Humane Society of Louisiana on Facebook. They're constantly updating the pictures and telling you what's going on. You go there, you'll donate. HumaneLA.org. How you doing, Jeff?
Corey, thanks always for those flattering, intros. I appreciate the kind words and your support. Along the way, you have helped us immensely, asking your listeners and viewers to chip in, and sure enough, they have, and we are continuing the good fight.
Hey, the Black Lab puppies dumped in St. Helena Parish. You got homes for them yet?
No, 2 to go, and that's not unusual. People are dumping their animals right and left due to inflation, and there's not enough public shelters, and they're lazy. It's like, don't dump your animals, please, people. Easy for you to leave the scene, and these puppies can't fend for themselves, hungry, thirsty, subject to all sorts of problems. And so please take a minute to try and find them homes.
Where's the old school judge? It's like, no, he's not getting jail time or fine. He just has to be chained to a tree in the woods by himself with no food for a month. See how that works out.
Yeah, and so we've been talking to lawmakers as best we can to try and get their attention. It's rather hard. It's still kind of a low priority. They don't understand the complexity and that it takes funding. And, most legislators don't like to spend money on non-human issues. And yet we try to convince them, well, guess what? It is.
Yep.
When you have your kid chased by a pack of dogs when she comes home from school, or, any number of issues, they're all related. It's how do we take care of our planet, its inhabitants, and how do we do better as a state? But we're not done. We have some good ideas. We have a few bills going to be introduced in 2 or 3 weeks. So we're going to keep paddling. So we're good.
Yeah, hopefully this legislative session, you get some money, you get the shelters at prisons. I mean, we've got enough prisons that would solve the animal shelter problem in the state. You just put them at the prisons, Jeff, like you said. My God, that's a brilliant idea. Everyone wins there. Anything we're missing, Jeff? I know we're getting near the top of the hour. What's important?
Well, the piglet that was tossed around during Mardi Gras has a new home. We had a big event adoption process or ceremony at the steps of the Capitol, and State Representative Lauren Ventrilla, who you heard at our annual luncheon, graciously accepted custody of Piglet, and now Piglet will be living at her private farm near Livingston. So it's all working out.
Yep. She's a big farmer and has lots of animals. So Nudie the nutria is all right. What about the possum?
Not so good. We're in touch with the state, and they've kind of put their flag in the ground saying, well, he broke the law, and we're going to keep it as evidence, and we're going to go slow on this. So we can't really move them. We're asking them to consider the circumstances, that they were emotionally bonded and that he's a good caretaker, but it's their call. So
yeah, it's no different from Nudie. Is the possum still alive in your in your mind?
Say again, I'm sorry?
Is the possum still alive in your mind?
Yeah, they've assured us that he is, only they're not returning him. So we're going to see if we can set up any kind of special conditions that everybody could live with. So
yeah, how's the possum different from Nudie?
They're saying that they don't like him driving around a bike with it. It's not healthy. We disagree. They have a strong bond.
But Nudie can run around the seafood shop. Okay.
I know. I can't. You're right. I need you in the discussion, but they have their position. We have ours, and we haven't met a common ground yet.
Humane.
We mentioned that.
Yep. HumaneLA.org. HumaneLA.org. You're the man, Jeff. There's Blue Boy saying thank you for all you do. That's Jeff Dorson.
Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
The true voice of New Orleans, telling it like it is, Corey Johnson.
Oliver Thomas joins us, New Orleans City Councilman Oliver Thomas.
And I want to, one of the reasons why I come on your show and not others, because you are fair. You equal opportunity support, equal opportunity criticize, equal opportunity disagree with. You don't have a black agenda, a white agenda, Republican agenda, or a Democratic agenda. All you've ever done with me, even if you disagree with me, and you have information to back up or a point of view why you disagree. The rest of them don't do that. They're embedded in his party, race, and ideology, no matter whether they have the facts or not. And that's what's destroying this country, this state, and local community.
No. Agreed.
The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on 93.9 FM and 107.9 FM.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
From her hit Broadway show, Joan Rivers.
Must be Hollywood Squares, I'm guessing. Boy, Paul Lynn was pretty funny. Paul Lynn. Who else was good on? They had some folks that would just like make you pee in your pants. I wonder if it's still as funny today. Or are they just like cutting edge in 1978?
And here's our tour guide.
Thank you very much, number 9, Mr. Drew Brees. Yeah, I used to laugh when I was a kid at Hollywood Squares. I thought it was pretty cutting edge. Paul Lynn and some other regulars. Richard Dawson was funny. Didn't even know who these people were. Just, I guess they're actors, musicians, whatever. But some of their lines were occasionally funny. Hey, it was like Britain back then. We had like BBC 1 and 2. You know, Corey, what the hell were you doing watching Hollywood Squares as like a 12-year-old? You know, weren't a lot of choices. The adults were watching it. I was just stuck in the room, kind of absorbing it by osmosis. Yeah, that maybe isn't funny today. Maybe it is. I'm watching something that is ridiculously funny. Just celebrated 50 years a few weeks back, Blazing Saddles. I'm watching it, and I thought the clip was so funny that I recorded it, on my phone, and then I'm about to post it on Twitter. And then I just started laughing to myself. Like, you out of your mind, dude. No one will understand. There's no, inflection, sarcasm emoji. So people are just, what's your point you're making? It's so racist. Boy. Sexist, homophobic. Yeah, I know, whatever. Any race, creed, religion, they were on full-blown attack. It is an absurdly funny movie. If you've never seen Blazing Saddles, I'll tell you it's sort of a good thing because you get to enjoy one of the funniest movies in the history of cinema. Unless you're just I don't know, really, really sensitive to kind of generalizations of race, sex, creed, religion, and all that. It's everybody gets abused. It's funny as hell. It's Mel Brooks. But I guess, I don't know how it's not for everyone. I guess it's not for everyone. Hey, I've got some $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates. That's for everyone. I went about 3 months ago to the Mid-City Woodhouse, Canal Street at Carrollton, got a 50-minute deep tissue massage. I walked out like a lump of clay. I was just like, ugh. My shoulders were down. I was totally relaxed. It was fantastic. I need to go again. That's hint to yourself, Corey. Book a Woodhouse Day Spa appointment. WoodhouseSpas.com. Select one of the 5 area locations, Canal Street at Carrollton, where I went, maybe the Metairie near North Kenner location, Transcontinental at West Esplanade. They're in Mandeville, across from Mandeville City Hall, East Causeway Approach, about 90 seconds from Treyen and the Causeway. They're in Slidell, about 90 seconds off of the I-10 Gauze exit. And they're in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana. Hey, I've got some $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. $50 gift cards. Good at any of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spas. 2 on the South Shore, 2 on the North Shore, Baton Rouge. Susan Spicer, one of the most talented, creative New Orleans chefs, just incredible. Susan Spicer of Bayona, which I highly recommend. That shrimp appetizer with the coriander, the black bean cake, the sour cream, just outstanding. The lamb loin, that basic green salad is just awesome, and great bread. And it's just really tough to beat Bayona in the French Quarter. Susan Spicer's Bayona on Dauphine. She has a Lakeview, almost like Mid-City. It's almost to Mid-City, the edge of Lakeview, almost bordering Mid-City restaurant. Name that restaurant. Not as high-end as Bayona, kind of a mid-range, I guess, restaurant, but just as good and yummy. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. You got the answer? I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at the Woodhouse Day Spa. Listening on the radio, checking us out on television, on YouTube, live streaming CoreyTalks.com. However you're checking out the Neutral Ground, 504-766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. Susan Spicer of Bayona has a Lakeview restaurant. Name it. It's pretty simple. You got the name. I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse. It's now just a lot at Canal Street and Rampart, the old Hard Rock Hotel collapse site. It has historical significance, civil rights era, the 60s. What was in that spot? What's the historical significance of that location? Give me the answer to that. 50 big bucks can be yours at the Woodhouse Day Spa. Al Copeland, the father of Popeyes, I think it was 1972, first Popeyes in Araby. Down in St. Bernard, where life is hard, hard, hard. It wasn't named Popeyes at first. Had a different name. Give me the answer to that. 50 big bucks can be yours. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. Susan Spicer's Lakeview restaurant. What was significant about the old Hard Rock Hotel site, the collapse site? What was there? What was significant during the civil rights era? Historic. Al Copeland's first Popeyes, it had a different name originally. What was that name? Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. You got answers? I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse. Rafael Goyeneche from the Metropolitan Crime Commission joined us last hour. If you missed it, you can check it out on YouTube. Fox 8 and Lee Zurich reporting. The feds are nearing a determination of charges against New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell. A federal indictment could be forthcoming. The federal investigation is at a critical time. Rafael Goyeneche broke it down for us pretty well in the 4 o'clock hour. The goods purchased at stores, the woman hired to make the purchases. She was paid an exorbitant amount. Was any of it going back to the mayor? Campaign money for personal use, possibly. It's never a good sign when you're hiring a great defense attorney. It's not a good sign when you're hiring a defense attorney. It's not a great sign when you're a politician. You're hiring just one of these incredible high-end defense attorneys. Vappy and Cantrell both hiring a couple of the best in the city. Fox 8 getting subpoenaed for their video earlier in the week. And then there's Jeffrey Vappy. He'll probably have an indictment similar to Morrell driving the race car on the West Bank, the falsified timesheets, payroll fraud type of thing. Hey, a federal judge blocks Texas passed Senate Bill number 4, an immigration state law that would criminalize migrant crossings. An Austin judge blocks that Texas law. Now, New Orleans' own Fifth Circuit down on Poydras, they'll make that decision. Just shout it out, Joe. My screen's on the fritz. Let's hit the phone lines. Yeah, you right. 766-9480. 766-9480. Heading down to the parish near maybe the new international terminal right outside of Violet. We're in Miro with Pat. What up, Pat?
How you doing, Corey?
What's going on down in Miro, dude?
Right now, just watching your show.
Cool, man. Checking us out on Cock. Yeah, you're right, St. Bernard and Pat.
Yeah, we catch you every day.
Cool, man. I love it. What's going on?
I think I can name the Popeyes.
The Popeyes original name?
Yeah, I think it was Chicken on the Run.
Chicken on the Run? Where do you come up with that?
I don't know. It just comes to mind.
Yeah, you right.
Ding, ding, ding. What do we have for her, Johnny?
Pat and Miro don't go anywhere. Got 50 big bucks coming your way from the Woodhouse. Yeah, you right, Pat and Miro. St. Bernard.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's Markets means convenience. Every one of our 65 locations opens at 7 a.m., some at 6:30, and they're open until 10 p.m., with some staying open till 11 or even midnight. Convenience. Rouse's Markets. Tastes like home. Here's New Orleans native son, Corey Johnson.
New Orleans City Councilman Freddie King joins us.
So I want to first say thanks for having me. And believe it or not, man, I used to listen to your show all the time driving home. So it's an honor to be on.
Freddie, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on the program. Thanks.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread. There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com. In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
An artist was born that would rival Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo. Please, welcome the greatest performer ever to have graced this earth,
Corey Johnson.
Nicely done.
Boy, and Jeff Dorson thought he got good intros. I like it. Yeah, you right. Thursday afternoon edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. 4 o'clock hour. Rafael Goyeneche breaking it all down. Fox 8 and Lee Zurich reporting the feds are at a critical juncture, critical time in their federal investigation. Indictments could be forthcoming for New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell. Officer Jeffrey Vappy as well. Fox 8, Lee Zurich, feds nearing a determination of charges against New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell. An indictment appears to be imminent. We'll see. Someone asked me a year ago on the show, and I said, if you put my arm on a chopping block, and some guy had that little 8-ball thing you can shake up, and it reads the future. Those things really do read the future, Joe, the 8-ball thing. Anyway, had some crystal ball where they could literally look into the future, you know, beyond hypothetical, fantasy land. You're going to get your arm chopped off or not? You better answer correctly. Do you think Mayor LaToya Cantrell gets indicted in the future? I would say yes. I just thought there was too much overwhelming evidence coupled with sort of a belligerent attitude of going against the grain. Now, this is just the possibility. This isn't a story where the mayor has been indicted. We're not there yet. It may never get there. That will be a bad day for New Orleans. And it's not going to be a day. I mean, this is where I probably am not a good talk radio host as far as like really do. This is a great time for you to be giddy, Corey, and act like it's a celebration. You know, that would probably garner more ratings and clicks on Twitter or whatever, posting a video of me just shooting off confetti cannons and the mayor's indicted. But I thought about it today, just that it seems inevitable, and I was kind of sad by it. Now, when I get sad where I'm like, man, that's just a shame, you know, I think about why it happens, and then coupled with sort of the belligerent attitude to boot, it's like C. Ray Nagin 2.0. But I don't hope that or wish that on anyone. Joe, my producer, man, I hope Joe commits some crimes. I don't hope that or wish that. I don't wish ill health, nothing. I don't wish that on anyone, not my enemies. Seriously, not even my enemies. I don't know who they are. I don't think I have any enemies. But you get the drift. And then don't call them Hamas member. You want them to die or give ill health or not? Okay. Really? You're going to give me that kind of question, like some Adolf Hitler question? Do I wish ill health on Adolf Hitler? Yeah, okay, yes. Jeez, that's not even realistic. Hitler's like 170 and he's in Argentina. Let's move on. I'm not into controversies. Hitler's 107 and he's in Argentina. Let's move on. That would be a good post that would get 4.7 million views. Earth's flat. Anyway, no, I'm not going to be giddy, or you're not going to be, LaToya Cantrell's indicted. I'm going to be, boy, Corey was all giddy. He was happy. It's going to be a bad, sad day for New Orleans. I mean, if you're a real city and New Orleans is broken and dysfunctional, but we're trying to be like a real city, you know, it's not a good day. And then, no, I get the other angle. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm against it when, especially an elected official, breaks our trust and steals from the taxpayers, enriches themselves when they're supposed to be civic-minded and working for us, literally. Yeah, that they get what they deserve. You want that to. You don't have like sympathy and empathy where you're like, let's just let it go. We have too much of that already with judges and magistrates in Orleans Parish lowering bail, bond, whatever, folks getting out. It's ridiculous. It's insane. Criminals getting out, flipping off the policeman the very next day that arrested them the day before. Just not good. No, I'm not going to be happy or giddy, but I am into, justice and righteousness, and especially elected officials, folks that have contracts with city government, state government, and they're enriching themselves wrong now. I want them to get popped. I want them going to jail. Got enough clowns and jokers that are on the payroll that simply don't show up and do any work. They're not really like breaking, quote, a law, but as far as ethics, integrity, honor, pride, no, they have none of those things. They show up, they don't do anything. They get reappointed, reanointed to another position. I mentioned it last week. It could be in New Orleans, or I'm at that Jimmy Ott, my radio buddy in Baton Rouge. I was at the Mel Ott Center in Gretna, and Jimmy Ott's related to Mel Ott, the great baseball player. And it was a boxing match, real boxing. Edwin Edwards was there, and so were a bunch of other political hacks. Heitmeyer was there, telling me different stuff like, dude, we can sit here and discuss this all day long. No, and it was a room full of just characters, jokers, a lot of people that don't know what work is like we do, where you're putting in an honest day's work, an honest week's worth, honest month, honest year, decade after decade. 99% of us, we work. Maybe in this city and state, 97% of us. No, and then there's a bunch of these jokers that are appointed and anointed. And I saw these clowns. I'm talking to one guy. He was just a little older than me. I forgot, Catholic leaguer from Shaw, something. I don't know where it was. And I'm not disparaging Shaw. But I mean, right away, he's connected in government somehow. And then he's just like, I guess on the list, when another governor comes in, you got to make sure this guy has a job because he's been in state government for 25 years. And you go from Edwin Edwards to Foster or Blanco or back to Edwin Edwards, whatever it is, the order it is, to Jinder, whatever. This guy's always got a job somewhere in city government, just keeps bouncing around from different job to different job, always getting a salary, a pension, retirement. It's insane. So there's a lot of those jokers and characters. No, I don't like that free ride. I talk about Cedric Grant, Mr. Appointed, Anointed at the Sewerage and Water Board under Mitch Landrieu. I'm riding my bike on the Lafitte Greenway. There's some plaque by the swimming pool by Claiborne at the Lafitte Greenway from like 1991 when Morial was mayor, and Cedric Grant's name's on it. He's some other appointed, anointed position. That dude in retirement makes $180,000 a year. It's all taxpayer financed. City of New Orleans. Think about what $180,000 a year could do in the city of New Orleans. You could buy a bunch of police cruisers. You could pay 2-3 cops a full year's salary. 2 or 3 cops a full year's salary. Fill a gazillion potholes. Clean up the city. Maybe have trash delivery 2 times a week for a month. $180,000. I don't know, maybe a week. It's $180,000. It's not free money. It's not in some thing that's all by itself. It's New Orleans taxpayer financing. These pensions that are subsidized, they don't naturally work. So no, I don't like that. You shouldn't like that. It's good that we stay on top of all this stuff. That's why I love Ed Michel, the Office of Inspector General. Speaking of, something interesting should be coming out of that office soon. I was all over that website today. Kind of got me fired up. Hey, television audience, real quick. You folks watching on Cox Channel 4, statewide, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette. You folks checking us out on Spectrum, Channel 333 in Slidell and Covington, Mandeville. Hammond, Homa, Thibodeau, Opelousas. We're saying bye-bye till tomorrow, Fantasy Friday, 4 p.m. I'll see you mañana. You can keep watching till 6 o'clock on YouTube. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. We roll till 6. CoreyTalks.com, same deal. We're on radio till 6 p.m. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. No, it's nolaoig.gov. The Inspector General of New Orleans website. They've got the annual report, monthly updates, what they're looking into. And a sewage and water board investigation should be coming ahead in the next few weeks, month or so at the most, I would think. The fuel cards, I've been talking about this for years. That should be coming ahead in the next few weeks, a month at the worst. Just on how this guy, Ed Michel, churns out reports, investigations, audits. He's a friggin' machine. I'm nervous about Ed Michel because he's just like Bob Sarasoli. Now, Sarasoli was older, but that gig almost killed him. He basically went back to Boston, started teaching, slowing down. It hurt his health, literally. Almost killed him. But he was a champion. He put down a great foundation. You want to know what a bad foundation for an IG's office looks like? Look no further than Jefferson Parish. It's a joke. It's politically run, politically controlled. That's why there are no audits or reports or investigations ever out of Jefferson Parish. It's a joke. It's a fake office. St. Tammany's worse, don't even have an office. No, this guy was legit Bob Sarasoli. Great foundation. And then it went to Ed Cotreveau, who sort of was long in the tooth. You know, good, honest guy, but didn't get a lot done. Then do nothing. Denny Harper was a joke. That guy was politically connected, just had an agenda of doing nothing. Nothing. Now we get Ed Michel. It's full circle back to Bob Sarasoli type with Ed Michel. No, I worry about just the drive, the passion, the commitment, the relentless, commitment to the job and just churning out reports and audits and investigations, just almost like around the clock. I just don't know how you can keep up on this torrid pace. Seriously. So I worry about Ed Michel. He's younger and he's fit and all that. What I worry about selfishly, me and the city of New Orleans, like losing this pit bull. I'm driving in one day to work. I'm listening to some former DJ yapping, very critical of Ed Michel and the OIG's office, very critical of Rafael Goyeneche and the Metropolitan Crime Commission. I'm laughing. You want to know why? That guy is kind of a deviant. He thinks that way. He used to have a nickname like Dr. Payola, Mr. Payola. Always has been into like scams and gimmicks his entire life. Just thinks that way. So when people are concerned about righteous watchdog pit bulls for us, Black, white, Republican, Democrats, citizens of Metro New Orleans, they're critical of these folks that we know are righteous, like Rafael Goyeneche's sterling reputation. Ed Michel, relentless. Just a blessing to have him the last few years running that office in the correct way again. Now, folks that are critical of that, you got to look at them. You got to look at them. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines. Let's hit those phone lines. Why don't we? Betsy, what a great name. In Chile, Gentilly. How you doing, Betsy?
Hey, y'all. How you doing?
Doing great. Boy, Gentilly, I was at Young's restoration, department over there. They're building on Franklin and Fillmore the other day. Every time I drive through Gentilly, people fixing up their yards, houses are looking better. Just the whole neighborhood looks better.
Thanks. Yep. Born and raised. Wouldn't live anywhere else.
You've lived in Gentilly your whole life, Betsy?
Started in Gentilly Woods, right there by the seminary, and now I'm over here, pretty much not too far where you were just talking about, between Marabou and Fillmore.
I can't ask age because, It's not polite. But so you've seen the area kind of decline and now come back up?
Exactly.
Wow.
And it is. I feel really good about what's going on in Gentilly.
How many of your pals, friends, neighbors of the past left?
Quite a few.
Wow.
I think, quite a few. In Gentilly Woods, I think our house was one of the last of the original owners right before Katrina. And unfortunately, we left Gentilly Woods and moved over here, but the block is full. So
nice.
It's looking good.
Yep. Fix a few of those streets and it'll be fine. I mean, there are a few that'll rip your oil pan off the car. It's like Lakeview a generation later, sort of.
That's right. They call it the new Lakeview.
It kind of is. Pre-Katrina, Lakeview was probably the median age was probably 60. Now it's probably like 45. Gentilly's probably very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what you got for us today, Betsy?
Well, you tell me. I want to see if I can win some gift cards.
Some. You didn't win one.
Man. What happens if I know the answers to all three of the questions?
Let's see. We already got one answer, didn't we, Joe? We got one answer with Al Copeland's Popeye's Chicken on the Run. So that one's out. Did you know that?
Yes, I did. I remember that one.
Uh-oh, Joe, our producer.
Remember, I lived in Gentilly Woods. I'm the class of 81 from Kennedy.
Joe, now I'm doing math. Before, I was just like, Betsy's giving hints, remembering that her age is falling into line. Class of 81 at Kennedy. I'm not going to shout out that age, but now I know what it is. I know that number.
That's right.
Yeah, I know that number. I'm close. You got me by just a few years. Not too many, Betsy.
You know what? You need to do me a favor. You need to do a show on where the Kennedy Cougar is that used to be in the school. It's disappeared. It disappeared after Katrina.
The Kennedy Cougar? What, you talking like it was some statue?
Yeah, you don't. Well, I guess if you didn't go to Kennedy, you wouldn't know. But there was this beautiful bronze, full-length Kennedy Cougar statue. And the head was beheaded, I guess, after the storm, and no one's ever found the head.
And then the body was just removed?
The body stayed, but the head was removed, yes.
Wow. Now it's just a big fenced-off piece of property.
Yeah. Well, it is now. I think City Park's trying to take it.
Well, I know they'd like at least half of it to make the driving range two-sided, like grass on one side and the mats and the double deck on the other, and maybe move the PGA tournament. That's all, maybe possible, all that. All right, Betsy, I got two questions still out there. Susan Spicer's of Bayona has a Lakeview, almost mid-city restaurant, which where you are, I would say, how would I go to that restaurant? I guess I just go up like Gentilly Boulevard and get on over to like Wisner and then cut up Harrison Avenue or something like that, or go that, or go down through the, maybe the little S curves and go up City Park Avenue. Maybe that would be the better route. Anyway, and it's over there. I guess it used to be a K&B that you remember, and I remember. Now it's like Dollar General.
The restaurant actually was an old police station.
Wow, in super details there. So I guess you're gonna go with that instead of it's now just a lot on Canal Street and Rampart, the old Hard Rock.
That one too.
You know that one as well?
Yes.
Which one do you think's the easier question for the general population, Smarty Pants?
The one on Rampart and Canal is probably the easier one.
Okay, that's the easier one. All right, I'm going to leave that one out there for the general population. And you're right, that's the important one that everyone should know.
I should know that one, yes.
But let's go with Susan Spicer of Bayona fame, has a Lakeview almost mid-city restaurant. Name it.
Rosedale.
Not the street, the restaurant.
That is the restaurant. Rosedale.
Not the street, the name of the restaurant.
That is the restaurant.
Isn't it on Rosedale? Restaurant. Isn't the street named Rosedale?
No.
It's not, Betsy?
I don't think it's on Road. It is on Rosedale, but she named it after the street. It's the old police station.
Who's on first?
Google it.
Who's on first?
Yeah, you right. Ding, ding, ding. What do we have for her, Johnny?
Betsy, who's on first? What's on second? It is Rosedale Restaurant on Rosedale. You are correct.
Yeah, you're right.
Ding, ding, ding. Final answer.
Yep, exactly. We're not going to change. I'll try to talk you out of it. That's
I
ridiculous.
know you were.
I always try, but don't have much success. I got a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate for you. You could make it to that Canal Street at Carrollton location in less than 10 minutes from your house.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Betsy, hang on, all right?
Okay, dear. Thanks.
There's Betsy, a Kennedy Cougar, attending a school on Wisner, the only address on Wisner. I don't know, maybe the Department of Agriculture has a side door address. Good job, Betsy. Rosedale's pretty damn good, right off Canal Boulevard in Lakeview. Pretty tasty. I was there. This is a true story. This is crazy. I go into Rosedale by myself like about 6 months ago, a year ago, sit at the bar to get a bite. And there's two women to the right of me. But the woman to the right of me, her back's facing me. And I look and I'm like, that kind of looks like my sister's, kind of her hair. Yeah, that's kind of her shape. That could be her. And then I'm kind of trying to look around and then I'm like, God, if it's not my sister, you don't want to be some creep. And then finally, I forgot what I was like, tapped her on the back. And my sister was sitting next to me for a few minutes with her pal who I met. And Joe, that ended up costing me dinner for 3 instead of 1. Fantastic. Oh, boy. It is a Thursday afternoon edition of the program. Thanks so much for checking it out. Hey, if you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed a lot. Rafael Goyeneche from the Metropolitan Crime Commission joined us to break down the big story of the day. Fox 8 and Lee Zurich reporting the feds are nearing an indictment. An indictment could be forthcoming. Mayor LaToya Cantrell, city of New Orleans, enriching herself, money, something of value. Officer Jeffrey Vappy, maybe payroll fraud. An indictment seems inevitable, and it seems that we are getting closer and closer. A few months ago, just Vappy and the mayor hiring separate but super high-level defense attorneys. I don't know. I asked Joe, who's running the controls. Joe, you hire a defense attorney lately? Just crazy. It's just, I don't know. Who's coming after you? Joe, that guy in the trench coat with the binoculars in front of your house at 3 a.m. and the dude up on the telephone pole with having the phone by his ear with the tapped into your phone lines, don't sweat it. Joe's looking at me going, what's a phone line? A physical phone line. Corey and his 80s era examples. Yay. Let's go back in time to the Milkman, black and white television. An indictment does appear inevitable. Hiring defense attorneys, not the best thing in the world. It's great if you're innocent. And then the Fed subpoenaing Fox 8 for the video. All I can assume on that is I don't think the Fed's like, we're lazy. We don't feel like scouring through the French Market's video ourselves to find out what Lee Zurich's already found out. I think the video, I'm guessing French Market video is, on some like digital drive and it just resets every few months. And you lose the video from 6 months ago, 9 months ago, a year ago. I have no idea. That's my assumption. Maybe the feds have subpoenaed all that video from the French Market Corporation. We have no idea. An indictment seems imminent, forthcoming for New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell. A federal judge blocks Texas's passed law, Senate Bill 4, an immigration state law that would criminalize migrant crossings. An Austin judge blocks that law. Migrant crossings, it is a federal thing, federal jurisdiction, not state jurisdiction. That's an Austin judge. Now it heads to New Orleans' own Fifth Circuit Court, right here in the Crescent City on Poydras. In New Orleans, the Fifth Circuit will decide if Texas's law can go into play or not. Is it constitutional or not? Or is it federal jurisdiction here? The law allows the state to criminalize migrants right as they cross. They're immediately a criminal, not a migrant seeking asylum in America, a criminal. This is not the federal law. They're not criminals. An Austin judge agrees with the feds, not Texas. And this wasn't the Biden administration or the federal government or suing it. I believe it was like ACLU or someone like that. Now, New Orleans' own Fifth Circuit will decide that right here in the city. Interesting. Now, I mentioned earlier, go to the Office of Inspector General website, nolaoig.gov. I was on it, scouring the annual report, the monthly reports. You go back a few months, they show you what they're doing. And then you can see if they've released that report, investigation, audit or not. And they haven't released one on the Sewage and Water Board or fuel cards. I anticipate both of those being released in the next few weeks, maybe a month at the worst, just from how Ed Michel in this office works. You can go to the website and look it up yourself. The Sewage and Water Board, the fuel cards. I've been talking about these fuel cards for years because I know information. I don't just, hey, I think this is going on. I know what's going on. There are city employees taking a city-owned vehicle, filling it up with gas, 20 gallons, driving home and siphoning it out of the city-owned vehicle tank to their personal vehicle. Then going back in too short of a time, not enough miles, and filling the tank up again. This is happening a lot. And then there is literally you have a pin, you put in a card, then you punch in a pin, and the pin identifies you. Why the card wouldn't identify you is mind-blowing. The pin is etched on the pump. Like, hey, everybody, wink, wink. Here's the pin number you use so you can't be caught. It's like an inside scam, and a lot of city employees apparently take advantage of this. This criminal activity, stealing gas, stealing from the taxpayers, abusing the privilege. No, I know this goes on. Over there, Broad, by the pumping station, you go up there yourself, go walk up there. The PIN numbers are etched in the pump. The one that's the sharpest and brightest and most silver and not rusted over or scratched out, like doesn't have an X through it, that's the viable one. Corey, you're in yesteryear, dude. We now do it on top of the pump. You got to go, you just look up above the pump. It's sort of in a different spot. We changed that 9 months ago. You're in yesteryear. Maybe I am. Anyway, I'm waiting for that. It's going to be that stuff, I would imagine, and a whole lot more that I don't know about. The take-home cars, GPS, 2024 technology. I think like a 16-year-old could get with the right, computer and knowledge could track take-home vehicles. Why were you in Baton Rouge? Why were you at that concert in Gulfport with the city-owned vehicle, city fuel being used? No, a lot of that. It's millions of dollars annually. That's why I talked about the importance of the OIG office. If Jefferson Parish had a viable one, just like a CPA scrutinizing taxpayer dollars, how they're being spent, making it more efficient, the office would pay for itself. St. Tammany doesn't even have an office. I remember A.G. Crow. He nixed the Office of Inspector General for St. Tammany and named the Naturally Nolans Bridge instead after Frank Davis. That's really important. So dumb. That's the great part about it. It's just so dumb. It was a TV segment. No one says Nolans. It's dumb and dopey. The pier down there, that's for Frank Davis, the TV personality. Corey, stop. The high-rise we're naming after Nash Roberts. I-610 being renamed after Hap Glaude. I mean, it's crazy. Frank Davis. I have nothing against Frank Davis. Sweet, nice guy. If his family or friends are watching, it's not anti-Frank. It's silly. Well, Frank, he drove that twin span. What is the connection to Frank Davis and the Naturally Nolans Bridge? There's none. It's just silly. Makes no sense. Hey, let's name a stretch of highway after Nash Roberts. I mean, if it's like the Doppler or something like Hurricane Center or something, I get it. Frank Davis, Naturally Nolans Bridge. Should you say, this is dumb? There should be a metal sign official saying, this is dumb, bolted right underneath that. Name the little twin span pier underneath after Frank Davis. Put up a big old sign that's applicable. He was a fisherman. Dude, you don't know how many times he drove across the twin span to fish. Wow, I guess he drove down a lot of streets. Name those after Frank Davis. Just crazy. So A.G. Crow's doing that important legislation and blowing off you St. Tammany folks, saying you don't need an IG. We don't need a CPA type to scrutinize public dollars in St. Tammany. Yeah, it's not the most affluent, fastest growing parish. They're not just expanding everything all the time and using taxpayer dollars to do it. We don't need any scrutinization. It's fine over there. Jack Strain, the old DA, they're all just good guys. Jeez, Pete's. That's what I always laugh about folks in Jefferson that bash New Orleans. I'm like, it's New Orleanians that live in Jefferson. Hey, you North Shore folks, psst, little secret. The majority of you were born on the South Shore. You're not North Shore natives, weren't born and raised there. Psst, little secret. It's all New Orleans, all characters and folks that are looking for the scam and the gimmick that we elect. Yeah, you need them scrutinized. Yeah, folks against the Office of Inspector General Ed Michel or Rafael Goyeneche with the Metropolitan Crime Commission, you have to wonder what their deal is, why they're against those folks. Hey, Baton Rouge, welcome to the club. Helm Paint and Decorating now in Baton Rouge. 7 New Orleans Helm Paint and Decorating locations. Helm's been around for nearly 55 years now in New Orleans. Almost 55 years, steering in the right direction when it comes to paint. It's what they do. It's what they know. Benjamin Moore, high-quality products, all the things you need to get the job done right. 7 Metro New Orleans locations and now 4 Metro Baton Rouge locations. That's right. Helm Paint and Decorating is in Baton Rouge. And just like New Orleans, free 2-hour delivery anywhere in Metro Baton Rouge, too. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, when you got to paint in Metro Baton Rouge, do it once, do it right. They truly will steer you in the right direction. Helm Paint and Decorating.
For game-changing innovation, look to the LaToya family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a LaToya company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latram.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria. Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe. Since 1896, Leidenheimer Baking Company. Baking that Leidenheimer French bread. They do it right here in New Orleans. It's the only place they can do it because that New Orleans water is a big part of Leidenheimer French bread. Could you imagine a local New Orleans po' boy not on Leidenheimer French bread? Seriously, it's made for po' boys. It doesn't just break apart. It holds the shrimp, the oysters, the roast beef all together. Love that Leidenheimer French. You gotta almost have to tug it, the bite away. It is made for a po' boy. But that's just Leidenheimer at room temperature for the po' boy. You take that loaf of Leidenheimer, you pop it in the oven at home, put that oven on at about 350, heat that loaf up for a few minutes. Piping hot on the outside, like hot to touch, almost burn your fingers. Crispy outside, incredible, soft, fluffy inside. You break off we call it as New Orleans Yats, the nose, the end of the bread, the steam comes up. You get some room temperature butter, olive oil or something. Wow. Leidenheimer French bread is special. That's why it's been around for over 125 years. Been baking it since 1896. And it's just, been around since so-and-so, been around since 1896. Still baking it right here in New Orleans, the official French bread of the Crescent City. Leidenheimer French bread, Leidenheimer Baking Company. Corey Johnson with you. The big news of the day, Fox 8 and Lee Zerk reporting the feds are at a critical time in their investigation of Mayor LaToya Cantrell. Indictments could be forthcoming. Officer Jeffrey Vappy as well. Rafael Goyeneche joined us in the 4 o'clock hour. You can go to YouTube and check that out. He joined us about 15 minutes into the YouTube broadcast for a good 25 minutes, breaking it all down like it's nobody's business. We'll keep you up to date on that story and more. Tomorrow, Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Huh, Boo Boy? I like that.
See you mañana, 4 p.m.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.